G'day guys, my name's Nick and this is Nicktrition. Welcome to another Just a Tip Tuesday where I give you just a tip and I'm done in a couple of minutes. In today's Just a Tip Tuesday, I'm actually going to give you more than one tip. But don't worry, they're just 4 mini tips, so we'll just make up one normal sized tip, right? So if you've seen the title of today's video, you'll know that these tips are all about eating around social occasions. We all know that for most people, the types of food you eat on a social occasion aren't usually the same as the types of foods that you eat every day. For some people who are trying to control their diet, this can be kind of difficult. So here are some tips to get you through your next social occasion. If you hang around to the end, I'll give you one bonus tip that should tie all these together. Right, that's enough from me. Let's get these tips in ya.
Just the Tip Tuesday.
Tip number 1 is to eat mindfully. So that includes all the things I went over in this video. Being that it is a social occasion, it may not be practical to implement all of those mindfulness tips. For example, eating without distraction. Don't go sit in a corner by yourself and not talk to anyone. This is a social occasion. Be sociable. Tip number 2 is to remain hydrated and don't neglect the fiber. Now by hydrated, I don't mean keep drinking beers. I mean make sure you drink enough water. It can help you with feeling fuller. Likewise, fiber can help you with feeling fuller. It's great for your health, but that basically means still eat vegetables and still drink water. Now, I know there are a lot more interesting foods available on social occasions. This tip may just help you eat them in moderation instead of eating all of them because they may not be there tomorrow. Speaking of those more interesting foods, tip 3 is to enjoy indulgent foods in moderation. That doesn't mean don't have any. That doesn't mean heavily restrict yourself. It just means, you know when you start eating a food and it's really good, and a few bites in it's like, ooh, I'm starting to feel sick, or that's a bit rich for me, or whatever. That's probably the time to stop that food. It doesn't mean you have to stop eating. You can move on to something else, maybe some water or vegetables. But there is probably a logical point where more of that food is not providing you with any more enjoyment than anything else. The same can be said for alcohol. Now, by all means, have a drink on a social occasion. But, like everything else, there's going to be a logical point where more alcohol is probably not going to equal more fun. Especially not for whoever has to clean up your vomit the next morning. Pro tip, if your mother-in-law is telling you to slow down, you should probably slow down. If you've been enjoying this video so far, then a sub would not only be amazing, it would also put you in the running for all future competitions run on this channel. The final tip is to try and stay in some sort of routine. That doesn't mean stick to the same routine that you have on a normal workday. It just means that there may be times for drinking and sometimes for not drinking. And there may be times for eating and sometimes for not eating. And there may be times for being social and there may be times where you need some time to yourself. So they are my 4 tips to controlling your diet around social occasions. My final tip, and we're getting deep now, is to be kind to yourself. The 2020 we've just had has not been the best year for most people. It's probably the year where a lot of people are mourning the loss of someone or something. It's also probably been one of your least social years. So take the time at these social occasions to be social. It's a healthy part of life. And if you go into a social occasion with a plan and things aren't going to plan, just do your best. There's always tomorrow. So that is every tip I've got for you on this Just a Tip Tuesday. I hope it wasn't too much for you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, please consider subscribing. Until next time, I've been Nick, and this has been Nicktrition. See you in the next video.